Peace and blessings, brothers and sisters. It is yours truly once again, Amar Mari, with your Iwapele movement program on today. And on today's platform, we have our good brother, Dr. AK, in the building once again, with the knowledge and wisdom and understanding of our culture to help us to have a higher consciousness so that we can live a higher standard of living. So if you would be so kind at this time to show our respect to our brother by sharing and inviting, that would be great. At this time, I'm going to do the same. Again, this will give you time for you to be able to invite people to come in. Also, we're going to allot you an opportunity on this evening for you to have a question and answer session with Dr. AK. What we're going to do is we're going to give you from a total of 20 to 30 minutes after the teaching session for you to engage with our brother. EYPLA movement, we focus on your spiritual, your physical, and your financial well-being. My queen, Amani Amari, is the co-founder. We want to thank everybody, for those of you who have subscribed to our channel. Also, for those of you who follow us on Instagram, thank you so much for your love and support. We appreciate you because we believe that more people can reach more people. Here we go. Get ready to go in live and direct on the set one more time. We have Poor Righteous Teachers playing in the background. Let's see what you all, brothers and sisters, saying out there right now. Alafia to my queen, Amani Amari, in the building. Yo, Dada, said Alafia, my brother. And tonight we also going to go over our brother book, Private Parts in Public Places, a confrontation with self and the realities of the world. Again, we're going to go over the book, Private Parts in Public Places, a confrontation with self and the realities of the world. For those who like to purchase the book, I'm going to put up the information for you as well. Okay, so you can have that information. And there we go, family. We also have a discount code there for you too, Amari 2020. All right, so you can go on there and purchase this book, Private Parts in Public Places. Yeah, I'm on top of it. I had to get this house that you be seeing. All right, my good brother, man. Thank you once again for coming on the program to share your knowledge and wisdom and understanding with us, my brother. How are you doing? Matter of fact, habari gani?
Nzuri sana kakangu, habari yako?
All is well, all is well, all is well. Asante sana for asking, my brother.
Yawa, mwema sana, mwema sana.
Yes, indeed. So, my brother, talk to us, about your book. How did you come up with the name Private Parts in Public Places?
Yawa, before I speak anything beyond the question, I would like to give honor and thanks and praise to our ancestors, those that have come before. I like to give honor and praise to my elders, those that are still with breath. I like to thank those who are listening now and those who will be listening later, both in the male and the female. And I like to also thank the Watoto, those children who will also be exposed to our engage tonight. The children are definitely the promise of our tomorrow, and the question is always whose promise, and our promise. And I like to also say asante sana to them for taking heed to the teachings of their elders. And you, Kaka, and my dada, Mamani, I like to say asante sana to both of you for giving us the opportunity to really share your platform. And all praise and honor and asante sana to the collective of our Alkebulan family. Definitely those who mean well. Asante sana. And so I want to highlight something. The promotional code is with an E. It's AMARE.
Okay.
Yeah, just a point of correction there, so that our good people can get that promotional discount, promotional code.
I will correct that like
Okay,
right
no
now.
worries, no worries. Yeah. Well, the book, if you will, uh, we as a people of Al Kabulan, okay, uh, we have a world that we've come to find, a world that is controlled in more ways than one. But with this world comes things that would otherwise appear complicated. Things, what I mean by elements within the world that otherwise may appear complicated. I, your brother Agbeku Kwesi, initials AK, okay, I am patrilineally, let me give you my family context. Okay. Patrilineally, I'm of the Ewe, okay, with a root within the context of the Twa people. Now, with the Twa, in the patrilineal sense, on my maternal grandparent, which is my Baba's mama, we are Mende, okay, of the Mende people, rooted and tied to the Yoruba, okay. With that connection on my maternal side, from my mama's side, okay, we are of the Akan, the Fanti, who are connected as a family to the Esan people, okay. Now, the core group of our people are originated from what today people will be familiar with, the Niger Congo area. And we're talking about 5,000 years of history on my maternal side. And then my matriarch from my father's side, my paternally, we're talking about 10,000 years of family connectivity. So we come to find that for someone to say that they are a country today, it's very much represented of their personhood. For someone to say that they are a color code is very much represented of their personhood. So, for instance, the so-called countries on the continent of Alkebulan, what do you call Miss Nomad Africa, commonly known to most. You have countries, but the question is, what do these represent? You have systems in place. The same thing outside the continent. You have countries. You have people who also people who are color coded. You have the terminology black. You have terminologies democracy, dictatorship, socialism, capitalism, all these things. You have religions from the Islam to the Christianities to the Buddhisms to the. You have all these things. What is constant in all these are people.
Yes.
What is constant in all these are people. So, for your brother's journey, a bit over 2 decades ago, I had questions. I had questions about life when a good, close person I knew expired. And also at that time, the family was in the southern Akabulan area and very much exposed to what people know as, quote, discrimination, what really is contextualized as racism or contextualized as apartheid. Okay. At that time, also, Horitata Mandela was also released from prison. This was in the earlier parts of the 90s. And from then, I dedicated my faculties to seeking to understand the world that I have come to find in relation to a people of Al-Kabulan. Submitting myself to the teachings of elders, of whom a lot are now within the ancestral realm, I came to a developed, evolving comprehension, along which I also realized the gift of purpose. So when you look at the world in really what it is, a cycle or an incubator of cycles, housing people and beings, you come to realize among a people of Al-Kabulan, they are a people who the world needs. They are a people who do not need anyone else in the world. My goodness. Let me repeat that. The people of Al-Kabulan are a people who the world needs, but a people who don't need the world. Let that marinate and ask your brother, what do you mean? My good people out there, not all that we need for our body, for our levity, for our health, physio-psychologically, spiritually, can be consumed in one sitting. So, what your brother is going to do in this moment of exchange is literally extend to you consumption bites of matters you need to come to an understanding or an acknowledgement of. Matters whereby you can take from this, sit down together and pragmatize. Pragmatization is where, my good people, you will find transformation. Pragmatization is where you will find transformation. We exist in a world which we've come to find. For those who are still with breath, they may have been birthed maybe in the 1900s and 20s, 1930s, right? That would put them a bit what? Into about 90 years old, around there, right, brother? About 90 years old, if I'm not mistaken. Going into 100, maybe a bit over 100. But just think about that. Those with breath today, they were birthed around the 1930s, 1920s, if they are still with breath. The oldest of our population. Ask yourself, what was going on in the world at that time? For those who are in their 80s and their 90s, what has been the makeup of their minds? And then project to those who are birthed in their 40s, who are now in their 80s or 70s, late 70s. That populace began to give birth to their offsprings, all things constant, in the what? 60s and 70s. That is whom we find today that are the core adult population in their 40s and their 50s, if you will. What was going on in the world at that time in their respective locales? We are in our 40s, we are in our 50s. What do we understand of the world we've come to find? Within that, those who were in their 40s and their 50s started giving birth to offsprings in their what? In the late 80s and the early 90s, if you will. Those are the ones who are becoming the young adults or younger adults of today. What we are shining on here is those alive with breath have been conditioned with a certain mindset. A mindset that has been informed by cultural realities. What are cultural realities? There are only 3 cultural realities in this world. You are having a people of Al-Kabulan, remember, whom everyone in the world needs, but they, as a collective, don't need other people in the world. A people of Al-Kabulan are located in different locales, with Al-Kabulan mainland being the symbolic representation, and her main island and other 7 islands. Again, on the mainland, then you have an Al-Kabulan populace who are located outside the mainland. But you have a people who literally go by, quote, different names. Different names, not of their own constructs. You have a people who practice and observe things that are foreign to their faculty, to their being. Because, my good people, you and I have come to find a world that has been informed by realities. And tonight, you are going to get the gist of this conceptual understanding, which within the book of private parts in public places. My brother asked, what led to the compilation of this? We know so much. We know so much. There have been elders and now ancestors that have come to teach and inform us. We know so much, but yet do little to nothing about that which we say we know. Transformation will be found in the application. Again, transformation will be found in application. You cannot hoard information and expect transformation. Private parts in public places, a confrontation with self and the realities of the world, brings us to a directive of pragmatization of that which is an Alkebulan cultural reality. You will understand what that reality is, what realities are. I had mentioned there are three cultural realities. There's Alkebulan in the order of its existence in human history. There's Asian cultural reality. And then there's the European cultural reality. Again, there's Alkebulan, there's Asian, and then there's the European cultural reality. The latter two, Alkebulan conceptualizes as the Eurasian cultural reality. The premise of life is what is termed mchakato. In Swahili, mchakato, process. Life is a process. The matters and affairs of life are but a process. It's important to understand this. Everything that is an outcome is due to a what? A process. Along that we have mahusiano. Mahusiano, translated in Anglo, is relationships. So the existence of all beings, are premised on mchakato, mahusiano. Mahusiano and mchakato. Relationships, relations, and a process. What you've come to find of a people are the outcomes of a process stemming from a cultural reality. So what are these cultural realities? What do cultural realities speak of? Cultural realities speak of intentionality. Again, cultural realities speak of intentionality. Intentionality is fused in objective. What is the objective of the existence of the Eurasian cultural reality in regards to relations, Mahusiano with Alkebulan? The answer is predatory. The Eurasian cultural reality is fused in a survivalist context of existence. Alkebulan is the mother of humanity, the cradle of creation, the land of the spirit people. A people who have been ordained stewards of the earth. Therefore, for a people to be functioning in the capacity in which we find them today as a collective means there are a people who have been literally displaced out of their minds, out of their right minds. Remember, Mahusiano relationships and Mchikato process leads to the actualization of all things we face and find in this world. With everything, with every element, there is potentiality. But potentiality defiled leads to dysfunctionality. Dysfunctionality is when one has a misrepresented relationship with reality. The reality of their liberty. So you have a people who have literally been inculcated, whose spirit, remember, Alkebulan is land of the spirit people. So you have a people whose spirit, whose roho, spirit is energy, has been defiled. And what again is the Eurasian cultural reality premised on? Predatory. A predatory nature, a parasitic nature. And what does a parasite do when it occupies a space? A parasite needs a host. Parasites need a host. So what are these parasitic elements? Because it's not the physio, my good people. There have been a lot of Eurasians that have come and gone in the physio. There have been a lot of people of Alkebulan that have come and gone in the physio. But why do we still witness what Alkebulan categorizes as a decadence of a people? Because, my good brothers and sisters, intentionality, housed in intentionality, are narratives and symbols. Housed in intentionality are narratives and symbols. These are what defiles or nourishes the faculties of a being. So the Eurasian, you have to understand, the populace alive with breath today, they are just beneficiaries. They don't have a clue how this whole thing was constructed. It's just like if your mother or your father was or is a drug dealer, your grandfather, your great-grandfather was a pimp and literally harmed others to gain. You, as a beneficiary, you could care less how they started, how they went about doing it. All you know is you need to maintain it because you are a beneficiary. So your faculties will be focused on what? Maintaining and morphing things again to your benefit because you are a beneficiary. So within the context of cultural reality, you though share, or though you occupy, better yet, the same space as others, as a son, as a daughter, as a son of Al-Kabulan, you don't share the same reality. Again, though you may occupy the same space as others, you do not share the same reality. So for a people, through the defilement process of the Eurasian survivalist nature that is predatory and parasitic, they have to disconnect the mindset. They have to defile the spirit from a place of natural to a place of the artificial. So within the faculty, you have a people that take ownership to that which is artificial, also known as false, in the name of countries, in the name of religions, in the name of color codes. This causes a bastardization of the mind. Also within that, you have psychological molestation. That is why the Eurasian has to create a hostile environment for the natural. But with a debased Al-Kabulan presence, there is an addiction to that which is a defiler. So within the cultural realities, you have a sustaining of that through what we label literally simply institutional sectors or institutions of functionality, being three main things. I'll name it in the Al-Kabulan context: spirituality, intelligence, and governance. Again, spirituality, intelligence, and governance. The Eurasian defiles this in the context of religion, academics, and politics. This defiling is then superimposed through the process, through mchikato, whereby then the being of Alkebulan has a disconnect from what? Mahu. Mahu? All right. It's very important to understand when you have a disconnect, you are going to literally be serving another's cultural reality. It's very, very important to understand that. Very important. When that disconnect happens, literally, you are going to condition the offsprings to do the same. So within the context of your lifetime, the question is within leadership, within education. These are the two prongs that sustain, that rectify, or that develop elements of this world. So, as a son or daughter of Alkebulan, the question for self is, what leadership role am I understanding and occupying to ensure that I am living within the Alkebulan cultural reality? But if you don't know what that reality, what the Alkebulan cultural reality is, how could you live in it? Because the faculties have been conditioned to serve the Eurasian cultural reality. So what you have in private parts, in public places, a confrontation with self and the realities of the world, is first that confrontation to come to an understanding of what you don't understand, what you know but are yet to understand. And then with that understanding will come the pragmatization. With that pragmatization will come the transformation. Very important. It's about Mahusiano. Mahu, finish it. Siano. Mahusiano. Relationships. Relationships. You are here on this earth. Mchikato, Mahusiano. Those are the things that define your being. So again, just think about things in this context. I have a lifetime. Alkebulan cultural reality, the Eurasian cultural reality, these are soils. You can see it as a soil. You are a seed of potentiality. You are a daughter or a son of Alkebulan. In what soil are you embedded? What occupies these faculties? Within that soil is what then you will witness as the fruits you bear. So if your soil or the soil you are rooted in is poisoned, literally, you are going to bear poisonous fruit. You will bear fruit. But the question is, what will be the outcome to a people upon consumption? So when one's mindset has been inculcated within the artificial, remember, what is of the Eurasian in advancement is as far away from the natural as possible. That is what is advanced for the Eurasian, but not for Alkebulan. What is of natural, the rooting in natural, that within the premise on working with the natural to amplify life, that is advancement. So the Eurasian will look at a seed, give you a seed that literally, with the sickness of mind, has been manipulated, called a what? GMO. What is the consequence of the fruits that a GMO seed bears? Harm. But that manipulation has to happen so that it can be what? Controlled. So you as a son and a daughter and a son of Alkebulan, looking at Mahusiano, what is your Mahusiano to nature? Beginning with self, beginning with me. It's an imchicato, it's a process. So then I ask, and the question is asked, are you dedicated? Suppose you don't know anything else. There's no more to quote, no. But to build on what you know to date in life. What are you pragmatizing? What are you pragmatizing so that those after you can what? Build upon. Again, if you are not doing things in the leadership context, beginning in your home, literally, others will be dictating affairs for you to the detriment of your home. We could
Peace,
take some
family, peace. That was a powerful session. And you can see the reason why, family, we need this type of literature in our hands, you know, is accurate information and the implementation of that information that brings about the transformation in our lives, as I always say. And we need to adhere to teaching like this that comes from our brothers and our sisters alike and our elders that are savvy to authentic, as I would like to say, authentic Alkebulan teaching, African teaching. You know, our brother has his roots, as he stated in the beginning. That's the reason why, you know, I continuously bring our brother on here, because I like to bring people who I have a rapport with, that I know of a truth, that does know the truth and lives by that truth, and not only just know it, but live it. That's the key as well. And he definitely does that. So as we stated, you know, I have in my hand this book, again, Public Places and Private Parts. And, you know, we need this information that has been hidden from us. And we need to research, as our brother has so lovingly encouraged us to do, for us to find ourselves. So what we want to do at this time, we want to make space for you to be able to ask questions. For those of you who have any questions at this time, I'll be looking out for your questions. Anybody at this time has any questions, please put your questions in the comments, and we'll direct those questions toward our brother. Dr. AK. Okay, again, this is question and answer session time. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask your questions. Also, make sure that you go to the website to purchase private parts in public places, and the discount code is AMARE 2020. Again, the discount code, and it's there for you, posted there. It's AMARE 2020. Okay, so does anybody have any questions at this time? All right. I know our brother is an eloquent speaker, and I know he gave you a plethora of information, but I'm quite sure he didn't touch on every single thing. So if you have any questions, family, please feel free at this time to ask your questions. Any questions at this time. And I'll be looking on YouTube for you too as well, family. Also, for those of you who are in Iwa Pele movement, those of you in the actual group right now, and you're tuning in from there, if you have any questions, please feel free. Okay, we have more so a statement out there. Queen Shanrika, Dr. AK, she said that she's definitely going to be ordering the book on tonight. So we have one that wants to order the book. All right, family. Again, does anybody have any questions out there? Any questions? Please, 1 question, 2 questions, 3 questions, 4, 5 questions, 6 questions, 7 questions more.
Don't be intimidated. Don't be scared, right? Don't be scared.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Don't be shook now.
Oh, wow. That's what we are here for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So again, we have the title Conscious and Woke. So what? As many of us that say that we're cognizant of something, but there's a difference between being conscious, in a person who has knowledge and wisdom and understanding of that which they are conscious of. And so my brother and I, we had numerous dialogues in this regard, because we recognize it's not enough to just acquire this information. It's not enough to have a plethora of information, but you're not doing anything with what you know. So what we challenge you to do is, because we talk about this all the time, okay? When you have teaching like this, and like the programs that my Queen Amari and I do as well, when you have teachings like this, it's time for you to start implementing what you know. Not just hear it, not just pay attention to what's being said, but be intentional. Be intentional. Ensure that you have a mind that, okay, I know what the problem is. They're giving us the solution. And if you notice, he's giving us solutions. Our brother didn't just come on here and just give you, this discourse without giving you solutions. Okay, he gave you the medicine, if you will, that you can take that can heal the social ills that have been plaguing us for centuries. Just in this short period of time, he's giving you enough information. And to me personally, this was an excellent spiritual a food session here, if you will, that you can chew on for the rest of the week. Okay, after we tune off of this program, it's time for you to tune in. Okay, get on the right frequency, tune in. All right, get your spirits tuned in, plug in, so that power can start flowing into your life. All right. So again, we want to thank you all for tuning in on tonight. I don't have any questions out there, but before I do that, I want to again put up this information here with the banner, so you could get a nice, good close up on it of the book. And I highly encourage all of you to go get a copy of this book. I have it myself as well. Okay. And I believe that it's definitely more than a good read. It's an educational tool. Again, private parts in public places. That's the information that's there. Don't forget the discount code AMARE, AMARE 2020. Again, AMARE 2020. I partner with my brother, so you can get this book. Also, that is a discount code. That's the key. Discount. I know we like that. African people love discounts. we love discount. We love, see, you don't have to even ask. We gave you a discount. You don't have to ask for the discount. You know what I'm saying? We gave it to you for you to be able to enjoy this life transforming information that will definitely reconnect you with what we've been cut off from. All right. So again, go check that out. Go grab that. Okay. And in closing, Dr. AK, do you want to give any words in closing, please?
Yawa Ndugu, again, asante sana to those who were managed to get on this evening in the live session, and obviously the many who will listen to this later on. It's all about pragmatization, good or bad, pragmatization, and that leads to outcomes. Remember Mahusiano, all right, and Mchikato is relationships and process. So what is the relationship with self? Beginning with self. Insecurities, deficiencies literally breeds a space for exploitation. And so again, within the Eurasian cultural reality, that is the intentionality in interacts with the people of Al-Kabulan. But when you realize self, when you connect to self, you begin to note that the Eurasian is inconsequential because you are the life source of Earth. But the question here is knowing that and living that are two different things. And how to live it is literally what private parts and public places. And by the way, you had said private places in public parts, Udugu, earlier on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it was a brain trip. I was like chuckling. I'm like, but private parts in public places, that is what
that'll be coming soon, family.
By you, moved by the ancestors. But definitely it's a guide. This is a guide. It's like when we purchase, let's say, a vehicle. There's a guide. There's a manual, if you will. When one purchases a television, there's a guide. There's a manual. But the thing is, what is the manual for the Kabulan mind? What is the guide? And that's through the prompting of again the elders and those ancestors. It was a duty to put together the guide for the Kabulan mind. Yes. And so now there's nothing like I don't know. No, you care not to do. And that is we've been taught so much. We've been taught so much. So you can have that guide sitting there collecting dust and then try and put that TV together or try and make that thing. You will have issues. You will have serious issues because you refuse to follow the guide. So private parts in public places is that guide for the Al-Kabulan mind. Okay, so apply it. And a guide is not something you refer to, let's say, to just put something together and know that when you even run into situations, you go to the guide. So it's a guide, intergenerational guide for the Al-Kabulan mind. Okay, so there you have it, my good people. It is always a blessing and a pleasure to speak and to do and share with those who matter. All right. Asante sana to you, Kaka.
And I want to get honor where honor is due. Want to send out to a shout out to Awo that's out there, Awo Makanju Ali. Okay, some of you may know him as Brother Jashir. All right, and our brothers out there. So he said, I shizzle. So I won't say a Boru or Boye Bo. She say, I will. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. All right, family. You all have a blessed one. And as we always say, we're here for your spiritual, your physical, and your financial well-being. Make sure that you tune in every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in the AM for my queen, for the Power Couple mental fitness programs that we have every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, where we come on here to empower you so you can live your best life. Peace.